the first really nice day of spring, and we're putting up kootenai covers and poly over top of our raised beds. More about that in another video in the future, but it just got me thinking about actually starting to water the garden, and I just wanted to give you guys a little tour of some of our watering setup here. So there's a couple of rain barrels there. Coming off that, we're going to add bigger tanks later this year. But what I really wanted to show you is this thing at the end of the hose. It just makes it's so nice. You don't have to go back all the way to the barrel. You can just turn it on right wherever you want. And so that's just a nice little watering station for the cans, but we can also use it to water the raised bed here directly. And then we have that set up at every single one of our rain barrels. So this one here comes all the way out to here. Can also be used to do that raised bed. There's going to be a raised bed here eventually just in front of the sunroom. But then once all these pots get going, then it can all be done like that too. So no walking back and forth with the watering can. And then over off of the wood shed and the garden shed, and very nicely our neighbor's shed, that all comes back to these 3 rain barrels back here. And then we have a piece of hose coming out again. And so instead of having to crawl back there, which wouldn't be very, convenient to fill up the water, then we can come all the way here, where we have another one of these ends on the hose. So that last one was plastic. This one is like zinc. So that's the last one was probably the crappiest. This is kind of the middle. We'll see the really nice one later. And again, so now we can water this whole raised bed. That one too. Maybe even that third one. But anyways, you can put the watering jug there. You can put one watering jug at the hose while you're watering the other with the other watering jug. And then you don't have to walk as far to grab the watering jug back and forth. So then we have the same thing off of these 2 1,300 liter each totes coming out to here. And this is the nice variety. This one's from Princess Auto, I believe. Bronze. Brass, rather, is what I meant to say. And so then again, we can get lots of pots and stuff like that with that one. And it just gives you multiple options as the tank's empty. Though once we put in a whole bunch of larger water tanks here, then I think we're going to be good to go. So all along the side of the house here is some drip irrigation. We're going to put drip irrigation into the whole annual garden this year too, but right along the house here is all drip irrigation. Helps get some water to the foundation during the drought last year. And that comes off of these barrels here. So there's the filter, and then it comes out to the main pipe. That main pipe goes under the pathway here and then pops back out here. And we can attach a few different drip lines onto it there. You can see one here, and then the other one is buried, but it comes back like that here along the side of the house. So this goes to this very dry spot underneath of our passive solar overhang. So you can see no sun's getting into the house. But during the winter, the sun will get into the house in the afternoon because of the sun being lower in the sky in winter. So we want that heat to come into the house during the winter. We do not want it in the summer, hence the overhang. If you don't have one, you could build a trellis and then grow something like this hardy kiwi up over top of that trellis, so that in the winter there would be no foliage and the sun would get through and you would get the heat that you want, and then in the summer the foliage would grow in and you would have shade and you wouldn't get it. So that'd be one way to retrofit a passive solar thing like that on the south facing side of your house, or really, on the east or the west as well. But so then we also have like a nice little thing to hang this big hose that I'm about to show you here. So off of these 2 tanks we have this hose, which comes all the way out to here. And with it, these planters aren't in their permanent spot, but with that hose we can get all the way to the end of these planters. So then we don't have to walk back and forth to the planters with the watering cans. The front yard essentially waters itself unless it doesn't rain for over a calendar month, which we had last year, which is one reason we're getting those bigger water tanks this year. So, but then you can see that other hose that I was just showing you there. Well, I'll just show you like this. So then that other hose can also do those, so that when these are empty, then we still have another option over here. So obviously we can get at these, but we can get all the way back to that other spot, to those planters, from these barrels. So, and there's also drip irrigation coming off of this barrel. Again, going all the way along the side of the house here. There's drip irrigation off of the big totes at the back corner there that comes all the way like this, and then the drip irrigation from these barrels, it goes like this. And then the drip irrigation, again, I put a little pipe underneath here, goes all the way and does this little strip here, because that's right between the driveways, so it likes to dry out. And so then we can just literally walk up and go like this, and all of a sudden we are watering. And a couple of tips with that too is, you can see here there's the little the dripper, the emitter. So it's nice to put one of those right at the top of the hose, right where you can see it, so it's not under the soil, so you can tell right away if the dripper's emitting, because sometimes after a while the filter will get plugged, and then that's real easy. You just have to unscrew it, pull out the filter, and let some water from the tank run over it while you wash it with your finger, stick it back in, good to go. And another neat tip is to put underneath of this monitoring dripper, put a little bowl, so that every time that you're watering the garden, you're also leaving a little wildlife drinking pond, if you will, a little wildlife watering bowl, so that the bees, the birds, etc. can come and have a drink from there. There you go. How awesome is that?